already.
Well, it's streaming to Facebook, and then now it's also recording in Zoom. So
Hello.
yes, yeah. So
How
yeah,
are you?
I'm I won't say I'm 100%. I'm maybe 75%, 80% today. So it's not bad. I found that in the past couple of days, I wasn't doing my usual over the maybe the past several months. I've gotten into the habit of vocalizing and maybe singing around the house, dancing around the house, doing things like that I wouldn't have normally done before, and just as my way of being, that's how I was behaving in the world, right? And for the past couple of days, there was none of that happening. But this morning, I noticed that some of that came back a little bit. So
Nice.
my
Nice.
mojo is returning
Nice.
a little bit. So
Nice.
that's nice.
Yeah, I love that. But I also think that maybe because of that, you have more appreciation for your health, because
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
some of the things we take for granted, and we are not as grateful for it until, we lose some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You did what's this? There's a song that you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Isn't it true for everything,
Yes.
whether it's a
Yeah.
relationship or, oh, talking about relationship, there is something I want to share. And yes, so connection is one of my biggest values, that I love to connect with people. And I have another self-discovery moment on Monday. I was in conversation with someone, a friend, that actually, what happened? Yes, I really wanted to connect well with her, and so we've exchanged a little, but I was reaching out more to her than her to me. And in a relationship, it's not about who reaches out to whom. But what I have noticed is that the person, she was also often, when you're just sharing about personal development, self-growth, that the person felt attacked at many instances.
That's interesting. Why is that?
I don't, and I was talking about it with another friend who was here this morning, Sarah, my good friend, and what we came up, the conclusion is that when someone is at a low place, they're more into responsiveness than, no, in a reactive mode than responsive mode. So, and it happens to me too. When somebody is saying something that you're seeing yourself and you have an issue with it, and you're not completely, you don't have a clear understanding, or you're not very comfortable, you can feel like an attack or an unease that makes you more cutting and more in a reaction mode than it's like a trigger. It's basically, to say it simply, it becomes what you're hearing becomes a trigger for you. So you don't have the appropriate reaction.
Yeah. So there's maybe the trigger
Response.
that they're saying this to me because they're judging me somehow. Yeah.
Yes. But judging maybe, or because you're not comfortable with it. You don't know, you don't have awareness, and to me, what's around it, if I look it to myself, because I think the only way to understand, what somebody is going through is maybe when you're going through the same thing. I know that the times where I am cutting, or I am reactive instead of being responsive, just respond quietly to a situation, or be more in a listening and understanding mode, is when I am not fully comfortable with what I'm hearing. When I am, I feel a little still, I don't know, shame, which is big, or anger, or something that I haven't been complete with. And that notion of completion is so big, and I've learned it at a landmark seminar training, and that wow, that was also one of those eye-opening moments.
Mhm.
So I reached out to my friend because I realized that there are some things that were unsaid. And if you
Mhm.
close a relationship, whether it's friendship or romantic or whatever, if you leave it incomplete, it bothers you even
Yes.
20 years later.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was important to just name, when I say tame the shame or whatever, just talk about it and at least close the relationship in a nicer way. And so I connected to my friend and I said, well, this has been going on and I feel like this and I felt like that. And again, she was like, are you attacking me? Or if you feel, it makes you feeling well to put me down. And that was very interesting because I was like, wow. So the person, when you don't feel good, you will take anything as somebody trying to put you
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
And I was a little sorry because, that wasn't my intention. I would say I never want to put anybody down, honestly.
Mhm.
But I think it's important to be heard.
Yeah.
And that's the conversation. That's why it gets interesting when we authentically share about what we are feeling. Hey, I said this because I felt this, or what do you think, or what were you meaning, or I wish we did this or that. So I think that's an open and vulnerable and honest platform,
Uh-huh.
to grow
Yeah.
more in connection, in love, and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to share with you something that came up for me this morning. I was on just scrolling on Facebook and I saw a live by Townsend Wardlaw, and I usually
Mhm.
don't stop and watch, but something called to me to watch his live this morning, and what he was talking about really hit home with me. This is I I I think I agree with what he said, that I'm not unique in this. Among men, we do this all the time. We want to accomplish something without anybody's help.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean
So,
that seems manly.
yes, yeah. So I just realized all of the ways that in coaching I receive, for example, or when somebody has given me a suggestion that I d- well, I guess the word is rejected it. I've rejected it. I've said, well, okay, I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm going to figure this one out myself.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
Yeah, and it just came to me how often that showed up for me in my
oh,
life, where somebody's told me something and it seems perfectly reasonable,
ah,
and I said, well, nope, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to find my own way. I'm going to find my own way of doing it. I'm going to forge my own path. I got this. I don't need any help, which
mm,
is very unuseful in terms of that way of thinking, and also that I really don't reach out for anybody's help either. I don't really say this is I'm experiencing this problem or this difficulty or this adversity, or there's something that I'm not seeing here, and I would appreciate your feedback and your help. It's like, nope, I got this. I can figure this out myself, because
wow.
that's who I am.
Mhm.
That's I figure out my own problems. I solve my own problems. I don't need anybody's help. I'm an independent guy, right? Right. And so that was really eye opening to me. It's like, well, how can I be a little more open to coaching I receive, to
Mhm.
suggestions I receive from people, to actually to asking for help when I'm not sure where to go, and I figure, well, it's just if I just struggle through this a little bit more, I'll figure it out and I'll solve it by myself. When really the answer is there in front of me, that there are plenty of people in my life who are more than willing and maybe eager to help me, but
Mhm.
I'm pushing them away because I have that that stubbornly independent mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is inspiring me right now, how it is inspiring me is maybe, I don't know, to be curious about
Yeah.
why do I have this independence mindset? Why is it bothering me? Not only to
Yeah.
notice it, because you notice it, you know it, you're self-aware, but to be curious. What is it? What is this that is behind? Because basically that's the root cause. Instead
Yeah.
of just trying to figure out the symptoms and recognize them,
Yes.
it's to go behind, to be open and curious. Oh, what's
Yeah.
behind? What does that mean to me if somebody helps me? What is that false belief that I'm having that prevent me from receiving help
Yeah.
from someone?
Yeah. Another thing he said is, well, if you were able to
What do
get
you
what
think
you,
about that?
yeah, if you can get what you want with somebody's help, can you make that count? Or does it have
Yeah.
to be that I accomplished all this by myself because that's who I'm stubbornly being, rather than being open to help from everywhere?
Yeah.
Right.
What does that say about you? Does that mean, because like I would say, if you say, I don't want your help, it means that if you give me your help, if I accept it, it means that I am weak. But
Yes.
is that
Yes.
true? That's not true, right?
Yeah. The opposite is actually true.
So you know
Yeah.
that. So
Yes.
for you to test it, it's to accept somebody's help
Yes.
and to still see yourself as somebody who is strong.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's been an interesting. That was an interesting thing for me this morning to think about and to consider. It's like, well, where have I out and out rejected advice that I've been given, that even advice that I've solicited, because it's like, well, no, that's a good idea. That's a good idea in theory, but it's not for me, because I need to figure it out for
Yeah.
myself.
But so for me, it's exciting because the next time it happens, more than even looking at the areas in the past, it's looking ahead and say, you know what, I'll be, as you said, observer of myself and my thoughts. And the next time it comes up, to really force myself to go beyond that and to accept the help and see how I feel and what it means for me.
Yeah. And I think that this might be a generalization. Mina, you can help me out here and tell me from your perspective what you think about this. But I think that women tend to have a different perspective on this.
Well, I ask for help all the time,
Yes.
but I ask for help for the things that are where I don't struggle with. Like if I call a friend and say, hey, can you help me out with this outfit?
Mm-hmm.
I know that generally speaking, I am good at putting outfits together. So I don't feel that's not my weakness. So I feel very good about asking help actually on my powerful areas, because I have proven that there is not a problem.
So that's interesting. So what you're saying is that if you feel confident in your ability in an area, then you're not afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. But
so what would it be if you didn't feel confident?
But that's where I wanted to continue. In the past, in my life, I've seen that there is a lot of areas actually where I have been very not good at asking for help. Because like me, I was Wonder Woman. I can do it all by myself. If I ask for help, it means that I am weak. And that had to do with some experiences in my past where I received something happen, and the way I handled and I felt some emotions, and the way I handled it and I made the situation mean something about me. I have an example, and that has been also a discovery that I made during a landmark training, and that was big for me. So they call it a command. So in my life, there is a sentence that has been ruling me for many years. And that sentence is, you can't fail. So I have done everything not to fail. Do you know why? Because when I was in 7th grade, I was the first in my class. And so the English teacher chose me to share a recitation during a school, what we call kermesse, like a school party.
Yeah.
And I was to say the poem in front of the whole school. And while I was delivering it, I got stuck. I forgot my lines, and the teacher came behind me and had to tell me the lines. And I was so ashamed of me, the first in class who forgot her line in front of the whole school. So the emotions, the feeling I felt were so strong. Shame, sadness, and I made it mean all the negative things about me. So from that, my response was, okay, you cannot fail, because see, when you fail, you are not lovable. You are not, all of that. So it's deep. So when I say you have to go to the root cause, you have to understand, it's to know what is the sentence that has been leading you. So because I can't fail now, I have relived my 44 some years just being driven, being that woman who is outside and always doing and always performing and always, because I don't want to be that little 7th-year-old Sabel who was so ashamed, because she, so it's deep.
Yeah.
So all that to say that I wasn't good at asking for help, because if I ask for help, it means that I'm failing.
Wow.
So on the areas where I have proven, everybody can see that, well, I'm very good at that, I can ask for help. But on those areas where I'm not so sure, I won't ask for help, because it will mean some things about me.
That's I think we have that in common, for sure. Yeah.
Everyone, I would say it's just a human experience.
Yes.
Now, the difference is if you understand it and try to do something about it, and choose to do something different, or just to live your life not miserably, but refusing help from people and pushing people away, and not having such a great experience of life, because there is this thing that happened in your childhood, in your past, that still has a hold hang over your life today.
Yeah, that's really good. Wow. Well, we should talk some more about this, because this has been we're on it. We're on it, back on the horse again today. This has been a fantastic conversation. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut it though, because we're at time. But thank you everybody who joined us and who will join us for the replay on this one. This was a good one. Tell your friends.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody have a great afternoon. All right, yeah, that was good. That was a good one.